Yo, what's up? It's the Lefty Golfer 1, and this is my Monday video in advance. That's because tomorrow I leave for a week camp. No cell phones, no electronics, no nothing, so I won't be able to make my Monday video for tomorrow. So I might have to catch up on that one on like Tuesday, due to the fact that I get home, I think, maybe Monday, but I'll try to get it on time. So, I'm not quite sure if I've made a video about this, but I'll have a little different topics. And this is about wedges. My take on what wedges I use when I need them, stuff like that. Now, I use 4 wedges. I only have 3 with me because my 60-degree wedge is in my dad's car because I was bouncing a ball on the club and pitching it across my yard into a little, like, grassy thing across the street. And, so I just threw it in his car on the way to dinner. Haven't taken it out. But, ooh, it's getting a little weird. I carry 4 wedges. I have a pitching wedge, R11 pitching wedge. My clubs are kind of dirty because I had a high school golf practice. And so, we were hitting lots of shots. Pitching wedge, which is, I'm pretty sure, typically around a 46 degree. I carry an approach attack. I've known them as attacks all my life, but I guess they're approaches. So I have an approach wedge. Mine is, I think, a 50 degree. They range from 50 to 49 to 51-ish. And I have a sand wedge, which all of these clubs are R11s because I got them in a set. Iron set, except for the sand wedge, which I bought myself, and my 60-degree wedge is a TaylorMade RAC rack wedge, which I like a lot. So I like to have a diversity of wedges. For my pitching wedge, I typically have this ranging right around 120-ish yards. I can hit it on the range about 135, but for some reason, my swing, whatever, I lose typically about 10 yards from range to actual course play. So if I hit a 9-iron 140 yards, I'm going to hit it 130, 150, 140. But stuff like that. So, I like to use this club definitely a lot, mostly obviously for approach shots around 120. This is probably my favorite club to hit because I find it has a great sole and just great contact. And so, it has just as a club face as this, same design, but I just find it a comfort zone. Everyone has a comfort zone club. Mine personally is my pitching wedge. Now, typically in my mind, I don't consider a pitching wedge a wedge simply because it's sold in iron sets. That kind of throws it off for me. So, typically, a pitching wedge is sold in a set, which makes me think of it more as an iron. And so, I don't know if you guys know, I have different grips on my irons and wedges. So, I consider this an iron. So, I have a Golf Pride multi-compound yellow on that. Definitely like pitching wedges. Obviously, almost everyone's going to have them. Now, next on our list is the attack, approach, whatever wedge. This is about 50 degrees. I like to use these clubs for shots about 100. Sometimes I'll hit it on a 30-yard uphill wedge where it's really windy. You want to keep it low, and let's say the flag's the back of the green, or the pin is at the back of the green. You want to pitch it low and just have it roll there. A lot of times I'll use my approach wedge for this. If I have to pick a club to take out of my bag, let's say I just have 15 clubs for one random reason, let's say I throw an extra hybrid in there, I would take this club out. But I still like it just as much. Next is my sand wedge. Same R11, and this club I use for about 100 yard approaches. This is definitely a club I like to have in here. Typically, I don't use it from the sand, even though it's a sand wedge. I just like to hit it off the ground. This is probably one of my favorite clubs to look at from the ground. I don't know why, it's just something about it is awesome. So I don't know if you caught on my bed. I don't know if you can get it there, but I just really like the way it looks on the ground. So definitely a club I like to have. I don't hit it out of the sand like I said before. And then my 60-degree wedge, TaylorMade rack, don't have it with me. It's in my dad's car. Is probably my most used, most trustworthy club. Not my favorite to hit like the pitching wedge, but something where if I'm going to say, you know what, I'm 60 yards out, I know I can make this shot because I love my 60-degree wedge. I also hit it out of the sand more than my sand wedge. The only time I'll use the sand wedge is maybe for really flat ones that I have to get farther. So like if it's the sand's at the front of the green and the pin's at the back, that's when I'll start hitting sand. But 99% of the time I'll hit 60 degree. Another thing I like my 60 degree for is just the way it looks on the ground. You know, look for me is a big reason for clubs. Like I was deciding between R11 irons and rocket balls, and I just decided I liked the way the R11s looked. I hit them both, and I said, you know what, they both feel about the same. That's not something that's a huge factor. And so I just took out 2 8-irons, compared 7 irons, so on. And you know what, I just really like the look of the R11s. So that's what I like. Now, so that's what I use. Pitching wedge, approach wedge, sand wedge, lob wedge. Some people only use 3 wedges. They would have a pitching wedge, and then they would have a 52-degree wedge, which is mostly similar to the attack wedge, or approach wedge, I'm sorry. And then they have a 58-degree, which is obviously in the middle between a sand and a lob. You know, I feel that's more the people who like to have more control with their long stuff, because that means they might have an extra hybrid in there, or even like a 2-iron, stuff like that. You rarely see people only having 13 clubs with a 52, 58 pitching. So my dad is someone that has a 52 and a 58, but then he also has a 64-degree wedge, but he's not a great golfer. It was just a good deal. They're all Callaway X-Lights or something. I don't really know. But that's how I feel on wedges. I like my wedge setup. I'm probably not going to change it. Definitely like having a wedge that can hit kind of far, and then one that ranges the most. So the club that ranges the most distance for me is my lob wedge. I'll hit it from like 80 yards, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. I know how to control it, and I like the way it feels. So the grips I have on my wedges are Win Dry Tax Softs. I just like having the softer grip. So when I, am hitting low shots, it just really feels good. High shots, where you have more of that angle, feels good. More of the wrist snap. But, yeah, so I definitely like wedges. I like the way they look on all wedges. If that matters. Well, thanks, guys. So, I know this is early, and I know I might miss next week's, but it's not my fault. I'll be gone. So, thanks, guys. Subscribe.